How proud we are that we can just simply quietly embrace the Navajo Code Talkers as ours, only ours. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are representing all of the Code Talkers. And I'm talking about these people who will be coming to the stage right now. Joe Kellwood, Albert Smith, Keith Little, as presented by Native American leader Peterson Zah. Please join us.
Thank you. My grandpa, Joe, here tells me, he says, it's past my bedtime. They'll make it short. Like all Navajos and all other American Indians, we always greet you by saying hello or good evening to you. Yate. Let's see you say it. Yate. Yate. Okay, you're already a code talker. Yeah. Ya means heaven. Te means beautiful. So, from heavenly bodies, we bring to you the beauty of the land, the mother, and everything that the earth and the universe is all about. Imagine back in 1940, you know the life in America, what we went through. On the Navajo Nation, it was no different. We had a big snow in the 40s. Navajos call it Yasdatso. And our animals, many of them died. Sheep, cattle, horses. And then we also went through some trying times during the Depression with you. And that really had an impact on Navajo life. The unemployment rate on the Navajo Nation, for example, was staggering. And young people were looking for jobs. They wanted to work because they all learned how to be responsible at such an early age because of the family situation. As it was indicated by the film, the Japanese people took pride in breaking every code that was sent by the United States. So they knew whatever we were doing, whatever orders were given. And so one day, a Navajo missionary, a family moved out to the Navajo Nation, and they were out there for several years. And a young kid by the name of Philip Johnson learned how to speak Navajo. He had a lot of Navajo friends. They played together out in the schoolyard, and they became good buddies. And Mr. Johnson also participated during World War I, and he often thought about this. And he thought to himself, maybe during World War II, we ought to try Navajo language. But he really didn't know quite how to do it. So he got together 29 original Navajo Nation Code Talkers. One of them was Carl Gorman. And they developed the military code using the language. Ordinary Navajo, he may live here in Phoenix, couldn't understand what they were saying because you had to actually live the culture in order for you to understand what was being said. So even though if you were a Navajo living in Salt Lake City or San Francisco or Washington, you couldn't really understand it yourself. I say these individuals were geniuses because in America, when somebody does that, that's what we call them. But it took a long time for them to get the recognition that they have just now received recently by the United States. As one of the generals said, that these men participated in every assault out in the Pacific without one single mistake during those periods. In the film, the word of Samuel Billison, who recently died and was the president of this organization, I think said it very eloquently when young men who are Native American are often being asked, why do you fight for the United States when the government doesn't always treat you right? According to Mr. Billison, when our mother, the earth, North America, is being attacked, we feel a great responsibility to respond. And that's why we fight for our land. We call it our mother country, so when somebody tries to take your mother away, you fight for it. You protect it as much as you can. I think that's something that needs to be repeated over and over for all of us to understand. Tonight, we have 3 representatives of maybe a little less than 100 Navajo Nation Code Talkers that's left. And I would like to call on my grandfather, Albert Smith, to come forward and receive this award. I think I left it over there. Can somebody give it to me? Albert Smith. Say something.
Did anybody understood that? That is part of the code. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. An honor to be here. I'm Albert Smith. We have come a long ways, but people always ask me, as I lecture across the country, why did you fight for a white man's war? I said, it's not a white man's war. It's also my war. A foreign country wanted my country, which stands for my freedom to cry, to laugh, to sing, to talk to my spiritual father anytime I want to. And at the time when I enlisted, I was just 15, out of the 8th grade. And I went in because I had already had enough adult responsibility at that age. So a lot of people today would ask me, you were just a child. To me, I was not a child. I had responsibility already. And some people say, it's been a long time before these awards came out. I said, no. Mother Earth already awarded me when I came home. I didn't have to have a band. I didn't have to have a grand marches to welcome me. Mother Earth hid me from the enemy so that I could travel even among the enemy front lines without being seen, without being heard. So that is why, ladies and gentlemen, America has paid a heavy price. Enjoy Mother Earth. Take care of her so that we can continue living in a free society, a free world. Thank you. Good evening.
Keith Little.
This light is so bright. Thank you. It is a privilege for me to be here for this Historymakers honoree as one of the honorees of the Navajo Code Talkers. And I'm also a privilege for me to be recognized as one of as a representative of my comrades, these Navajo Marines that are brilliant men and who develop a code that was ingeniously schemed very shrewdly, that no one understands it. It's undecipherable, no matter who tried. And it takes a pretty intelligent person to do that. But the 29 people that develop these things work over a month developing this 250 words of military terms initially. And when they went overseas, they were met with as doubts, confusions, skepticism, and they were challenged whether they can do it accurately, precisely, and through the efforts of their own persistence on their part, overcame these resistances, these confusions, these skepticism, and earned their what they really are, professional men that are very brilliant and have the great ability in code and their abilities to use the Navajo Code that they developed it, implemented it, which became a very proficient and precisely accurate form of communication. And when they do that, they save lives, countless lives of their fighting men at the front and all over the country. And for that, nobody recognized them, simply because of the secrecy of the project. And it took them many years. When it was recognized, all of us had to work for some sort of a recognition of what we did. Nobody knew that we made an impact on the form of communication that was used, what they call a brilliant way, but impacting the conventional form of coding system that took a lot of time to decipher, whereas Navajo Code didn't have to be unscrambled. We just encoded the messages as we sent it, and one of our own comrade, he's decoding it as he writes it down. It took only a minute to deliver it to its destination to execute what it's calling for. So this is a form of Navajo people that came along at the most critical time in our period of the world, what they call a national emergency, and we came along and did this without asking for any sort of recognition. So I'm very glad that I'm here representing my people, and also as an honoree and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Thank you.
Navajo people have a lot of sense of humor. I guess that the life that we lead, you almost have to be that way. My dad always told me, he was a councilman for many years, that you got to have people laughing with you because everything isn't so serious. And one of the code talkers who was unable to be here tonight is Thomas Begay. Thomas Begay from Chin Lee always told this story. When they were in the foxhole fighting, people will always go to him and say, "Hey, Chief, we need to have you send this message across." Or, Chief, we need to have you do this. Chief, we're very, very hungry. Maybe you guys ought to look out for some goats or something. And Thomas Begay says, he really got angry one day, and he says, "I don't want everybody in this foxhole here to quit calling me Chief anymore. If I was the real chief, we wouldn't be in this mess. You would all be back home enjoying your life and having a steak dinner, so don't tell me Chief again." Here is the incomparable Joe Kellwood.
I like to add a little bit more here and there. I've been here in Phoenix since 1946, February 3rd. I come in from San Diego, landed in the Indian hospital with pneumonia. I'm not used to cold weather. I come here in the wintertime. I've been in South Pacific 3 years, so you know how it is. You get used to hot country. Anyhow, I've been here all those years, and I'd like to add a little bit more. The Code Talkers come from Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. Yes. And some of them, like me, I didn't go back to reservation. I went to school here, ASU. At that time, it's a college. And I learned a trade there, carpenter. So I've been here in Phoenix 43 years driving nails, That was nice. I look at some of these History Channel. I see that some of my work where I request artillery barrage. Yeah, it's kind of things like that. It stays with you, And the other thing, always been a good Marine in my life. I come alone from reservation. I enlisted in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they sent me down here. I enlisted here in Phoenix, on Central and Van Buren, 3rd floor. From here, I went to San Diego, 4 of us. 2 white boys, 1 Apache going into the Navy, and 1 Joe Kellwood. Yeah, we went from here to San Diego, and we got to San Diego. We went to Barrett's, and here's other Navajos that come from Fort Wingate, New Mexico. And we went through boot camp half and half white, half Indian. And when we finished the school, they got their vacation back to the east. Us, we went to Camp Elliott, communication school. They got us started right away. Oh yeah, by the way, part of the first group is already on Guadalcanal. Second group is going out with the 2nd Marine Division. And the rest of us, they shove us to the school. We work hard, day and night. For me, it is spelling. Yes. So when we finish communication school, they teach you everything. Morse code, you had to go by 10 words a minute. Everything. Semaphore and paneling, and know all about switchboard. That's the way you graduate. And when we graduate, they sent us to Melbourne, Australia, 3 of us. We joined 1st Marine Division down there in So we bloody Aussies, you know what I mean? We spend 7 months down there, come back into South Pacific, East New Guinea, and hit Cape Gloucester, New Britain on Christmas Day, 1943. And hit the Peleliu, September 15, 1944. The last one, Okinawa, April 1st, April Fool's Day. So many of you hear me sing at Memorial Day at National Cemetery. And last year I present the Code Talkers thing there. And there was, everybody enjoyed. I have a standing ovation for about 5 minutes. But it was something good, you know. But I did my service protecting my country, my people, the whole United States, and our allies. I found that out when I'm in Australia. They're good friends. Now, to end this, I will sing you a Marine hymn in Navajo. I went in with 7th group of the Navajo Code Talkers. That's the one that developed this Marine hymn in Navajo. First verse. Nohosh ka bi ka ana ila ta so kon ta sil kai ne pe ka ji do ta ka ji ta so ko en ta ti pa da da ni te ya ebeni he wasn't Washington Becos Picasila Giligo Pahojon. Proud to be a letterneck. That's what it is.
One other word. We want to give you one, thank you for, thank you. We want to tell you about one other thing, just one more minute, my friend. And that is that the Code Talkers, as was noted in the film, get into the young kids, having them continue to learn the language, the culture, and everything. We really need your help, probably within the next year or maybe a couple of years on this English-only thing. That's going to be one of the projects that the Code Talkers will be tackling this year. I understand it's ready to be introduced or has already been introduced in the state legislature. And sometimes for people like me, not so much my grandfather's Marches here, but it really makes me angry to see people still in the year 2005 continue to do that. When we have relied so much on the language of the native people, then we want to wipe it out. We shouldn't do that. Thank you.
The Navajo Code Talkers, ladies and gentlemen. You'll tell your kids about them.